And welcome to the show, everybody. I am your host, Jim Masters. We're live worldwide on the one and only Jim Masters Show Live. Good to have you with us. Although I say the one and only, I am the fifth James in the family, so maybe it's the fifth and only. Good to have you with us. Light, levity, and lovity. That's what we call it here. If you're wondering where that word came from, since it's so fresh in our minds, I'll repeat it for those who are watching once again, or for those who are watching for the first time. Our audience has been just expanding exponentially every single night. And boy, do we love that. It's so wonderful that so many of you are letting us know here at the Jim Masters Show Live, letting me know through your texts and your Facebook messages and your daily continual posts, sharing of the links, having watch parties, and celebrating the blessing and joy of life through these incredible conversations we have with amazing guests, the wonderful viewer interaction that we have all the time. It's a very viewer-centric broadcast, the on-location segments, the special features, and all the cool things that we do here on the show. We launched this broadcast 11 weeks ago, and I came up with the word levity by accident when I combined levity and love. And I tell you, it's become a theme of this show. Everybody has been saying, Jim, I love that word levity. So now I call all the viewers lovities. So all the lovities that are watching, it's good to see you around the world, in the United States, in Canada, Asia, Europe, Australia, Africa, New Zealand. We have folks that are watching in Japan and Spain, Ireland, the Netherlands. You name it, they're finding out about the show. A lot of people are telling each other, the guests who are on are telling each other, hey, I was on the show with Jim. You should go on the show with Jim. A lot of friends of mine in the fields of television and music and film and writing and producing, they've been hopping on as well. And just folks who want to be here because they like the vibe. It's got sort of like a modern, positive sensibility of today, with the old school polish of some of the shows and talk shows and things that were done in the past. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. I am your host, Jim Masters. We're here every single night. I know, it's amazing, huh? Every single night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live, broadcasting worldwide. We also save all of these episodes, so they are archived for you for future reference. If you'd like to watch an episode again, you loved it so much, or maybe you want to share it with somebody else who missed it, or maybe you didn't get a chance to see the entire episode. You know, we all lead busy lives, and I personally understand that. That's why we have the entire series of Jim Masters Show Live episodes for you, for your viewing pleasure on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. And please subscribe to the channel. I hate saying that. I know everybody says, please subscribe to the channel, but that's what helps the channel grow. That helps with all the different ways that it expands. More people get a chance to see it. And that's a wonderful thing. So if you go over to YouTube, just click the subscribe. There's no cost. I don't know why they say subscribe, because there's no fee to watch these shows. You just watch it and you enjoy it and you share it and you have a good time. So we've got a lot of people from around the world who are watching right now. We've got a lot of people that are posting comments already. And we have a phenomenal guest who's joining me, Barbara BLEIER, and she is extraordinary. She is a renowned film and television and stage actress. She's a singer. She's also a screenwriter and a playwright and a couple of other things that we're going to surprise you about her that in my research I learned about her that are extraordinary. And she understands psychology. I'll just give you a little bit of a clue there. She understands the human condition. She understands how we think and operate. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because having that understanding of psychology really gives you a wonderful understanding of how to present your art in a way that really connects with people. I've always enjoyed psychology myself, and that allows you to relate to people in terms of how they are thinking and some of their needs, and how to inspire and to lift and to connect with people as well, when you understand the human condition, the plight of every single one of us, the good days, the bad days. And as I say all the time on this talk show series, not every day is going to be perfect. There's going to be days when things happen. There's going to be days even here when one of the lights burns out, or that lamp over there falls down. Or believe me, I've been in actual television studios where those things have happened, and they've said, Jim, you got to run out there, as the host or talent at different television stations and networks I've worked with over the years. Jim, the place is on fire. Go out there and say something or do something and make something happen. So that happens. So you just got to be ready for those types of things, to jump out there and do what you have to do. But not every day is going to be perfect in life. But hopefully the time you spend with us here on the Jim Masters Show Live, as we continue to grow this, tweak this, fine tune this, expand this, make this more visible for an even larger audience, but also more and more pleasurable for the folks that are watching all the time. As we continue to do that, we have an opportunity to do it with you here, and that's what makes it great. So thanks for joining us. And again, we've got our wonderful guest coming up in just a minute. As I say, she's waiting in our beautifully attired green room with the champagne, and we've given her lobster, cheese, and crackers, and fine chocolates from Europe. Maybe not. She probably has a glass of hot tea next to her, and that's it. Everybody's at home. Everybody's at home. We're in our home studio. We built this 11 weeks ago, and it's really something. It's been a labor of love, and we just upgraded our entire system technologically about a week ago as well, and we're so happy about that. We made the investment in that. So let's say hello to our fantastic audience from all around the world. Again, there's our special guest that's coming up in just a moment. I do want to let you know a couple of quick things. Tomorrow night, we have somebody extra special as well. We have Stan Livingston. Who's Stan Livingston? Stan Livingston played Chip Douglas on My Three Sons, the legendary sitcom series in the 60s with Fred McMurray and William Demarest. Yeah, he's going to be here tomorrow. And then a brilliant young performer, Ellis Gage. He's going to be here on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the legendary comedy writer, producer, and so much more, comedian, he's a little of everything, Bruce Valanche. Bruce Valanche is going to be here live exclusively this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. He's been a writer for the Grammys, the Tonys, the Emmys, the Oscars. He was involved in Hollywood Squares for years when Tom Bergeron was hosting it, and so much more. He's a brilliant comedy writer and producer, and he is going to be here on Sunday. So great guests, including our guest tonight. So let's say hello to this fabulous worldwide audience we have here. And Willie, good to see you, Willie. We have our tulips waiting for you. Just a little sidebar about Willie. Willie is in Holland, and right now it's about 10 minutes after 1 a.m. She takes naps in the afternoon, so she wakes up at 1 a.m. and she never misses an episode of the Jim Masters Show Live, and we love that. So there you go. There are your Dutch tulips, just for you, Willie, because of your dedication and faithful nature of being such a great lovety, one of our fabulous viewers. We call them loveties now with the establishment of that new word. I think we're going to have to get T-shirts, mugs, and hats that say loveties. Everybody actually, when I mentioned that a couple of nights ago, everybody's like, yeah, I want one. So we are working on that. So stay tuned. And here we go again. Enjoy, everyone. Greetings from Holland. Absolutely. Marianne is with us. Hi, Marianne. Good to see you. I'm glad that you're watching the show as well. And we have more. Marilyn in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. Hello again. Looking forward to your show tonight. Thank you very much. Hello from Christine in Connecticut and Christopher in Ohio. Absolutely. And Linda in Florida, regular viewer all the time. We appreciate that, Linda. Good evening, Mr. Lovety. Looking forward to seeing George Burns, Jimmy the Clown, Silver, and Jeannie. Yes, we're going to introduce them in just a minute. Looking forward to our guest tonight as well. So am I. She's really, really wonderful, and she's all excited to be here, and we're honored to have her as our guest as well tonight. Good to see you, Linda. And Marilyn in Kansas, good evening to you as well. It's a pleasure having you on the show. Hope your day's going well. Ernestine Webb in North Carolina. Hello, Jim and friends. Hope your day was a good one. Absolutely, absolutely. Christopher, he's on it. He got it. Light levity, love it. You got it. Hello to each other. See, our viewers also say hello to each other too, which is kind of nice. It's like one big lovely family here at the Jim Masters Show Live. Marianne is here saying hi to Barbara. Jerry Castaldo, he's going to be a guest in a couple of weeks here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We look forward to that. Go, Jim, go. You got it, Jerry. Your wish is my command. Hope you're doing well this evening, sir. Kathleen in New York City, the Queen of Queens, as I call her. Hello, hello, hello. Hope all is well with you as well. June Rachelson Aspa, hiya. We talk multiple times a day, and it's good to see you, June. And Phil, good to see you as well in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Hope you and the family are doing well. Sending you lots of lovity. Jennifer Barry says, hi, Jim. And Barbara Lovity Schlante. Yes, that's a wonderful Irish cheers. And I'm Irish on my mother's side. So we'll take that. Absolutely. And we toast as well. Hi, Marianne in New Jersey. Good to see you. Hope your day's going well. June can't wait to see Barbara. And Barbara can't wait to see all of you. And Renee in Iowa. Hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Hi, everyone. Thanks for sending me the link, Willie. That is fantastic. Is that the link to this show? I certainly hope so. And Avril, hi, Jim. Hope all is well with you. She's watching in the United Kingdom and Great Britain and Hampshire, UK. Hope all is well with you. Thank you for the show. It is 12:05 a.m. So we toast you as well, because I know in England it is 12:05 a.m. But you're there. And if you ever miss any of the shows, Avril, if you get a little tired, they're all archived on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Thank you for your dedication as well. We appreciate it, and we toast you. And just got back from eating dinner, walking for a while. Beautiful day outside. That's wonderful, Renee, because you're on your vacation, I think, right? Danilo in San Diego, California. Hello, Mr. James Lovity from San Diego with Lovity. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Danilo. Kathleen would love a Lovity t-shirt, mug, etc. We're working on all of that. Good evening from Ralph Lampkin. Thank you very much, Ralph. Good to see you as well. Marianne's watching on YouTube, on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. She can't wait. Jim, can you, Barbara, and Jenny do a cheers together? Schlante, cheers, Lovity. Yes, we will do that. Peggy, the chocolate diva. That is her wonderful slogan. I love that she calls herself that, because she is such a wonderful person. She's a dear friend. I love Peggy. Everybody loves Peggy. Good to see you, Peggy. You are a wonderful person. I'm glad you're joining us here on the show tonight. The link to the show. Thank you very much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And now you guys are in Illinois on your vacation. That is fantastic. Well, welcome, everybody. It is a wonderful evening here. It's beautiful. It is sunny. We're having a great time. We want to toast everybody, as we always like to do. Tonight, we just have some light, just water. It's just flavored water. That's all it is. So nice and refreshing flavored water for you here. We toast you and you and you and you and you and you. Everybody watching from around the world. Nice and refreshing. And of course, a couple of your favorites are here. Your friends are here. Everybody knows about our routine now, and they love it. George Burns is here, and George says hello to you and you and you and you and you. He greets all of you as well. He's got his cigar. He sees all of you as well. He's ready to go. You ready to go, George? All right, he's ready to go. So George is here. We can't get started without our George Burns. And of course, we've got Jeannie waiting for you. I know you guys love Jeannie. And there she is. She's looking at you in the bottle. Whoosh, you see her there? I think she's blinking at you. So Jeannie's there. And from Europe, from our TV shoot in Switzerland, our Silver Canine Lab. Yes, there he is. It is Silver. And he sees all of you. Silver. Very nice dog. Silver is sort of our mascot. Look, he sees you. He's looking right at you. Isn't that amazing, huh? So Silver is here. And these are our cast of characters. We put them on the show just one night. And guess what? Everybody fell in love with them. I need to become an octopus, truly, with everything that's around me here. I need a couple of more arms. And there's Jimmy. Jimmy says hello to you as well. There he is. Look at that smiley face. I'll have him host the show if I'm ever away or on vacation. Jimmy is a very friendly clown. No need to be afraid of Jimmy. Jimmy's a friendly clown. We only have friendly people here at the Jim Masters Show Live. All right, everybody. We are here. We have one more thing to do, and you know what that is? We go Hollywood, right? Lights, camera, action. So here we go. The Jim Masters Show Live is about to officially begin. I tell you, it's quite an intro. It's like 15 minutes of intro. Lights, camera, and action. We like to go big. We like to go Hollywood. We spare no expense here at the Jim Masters Show Live for our faithful and loyal viewers. Good to have you with us tonight. And I see a lot of smiley faces. So we're going to welcome our very special guest right now. She's a brilliant actress. She's a wonderful person. She's a legend in the industry as well. You may know a lot about her work. I'm sure you do. But if you don't, you will learn right now, because she is somebody who is just extraordinary. Matter of fact, remember we had Austin Pendleton on the show, that brilliant interview? Everybody's still commenting about that interview. A lot of people have said, after I interview the guests, and I don't even call them interviews, I call them conversations. After we do that, a lot of people, including the guests, usually afterwards, they'll say they've never had that kind of interview before or that kind of conversation. It reminds them a little bit of the Dick Cavett experience, where you really can talk and there's no time limit. And Austin had said the same thing. And sort of people who know Austin Pendleton, they said they learned things about him that they didn't know before. And I'm hearing that a lot from viewers who are seeing these episodes, which is really, really nice. Our very special guest, Barbara BLEIER, you see her right in the center there, playwright, actor, singer. Her solo show, Who's Your Mama, which she wrote and performed, directed by Austin Pendleton, deals with issues of women aging in America. She was given productions at Stage Left Theater and at HB. Her full-length play, The Last Hippie, an exploration of 70s values in a Bush-Cheney era, was read at the Players Club in New York City and won a staged reading at the HB Playwrights Theater in New York City under the direction of Kate Bushman. Her short plays have stage readings in the Abington Theater in New York City. Her new full-length play, Sexual Congress, was read there as well. Barbara has acted in a multitude of off and off-Broadway productions, as well as in film. This Is Where I Leave You with Jane Fonda and Tina Fey. They came together with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, as well as Swoon, Cape May, Ruth and Bee, among others. And television, she's been on Law and Order, Criminal Intent, numerous commercials and infomercials as well. I've hosted quite a few of the infomercials and commercials as well. As a singer, she was a fellow at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center and has performed in cabaret nationally and internationally. Her cabaret, Beautiful Mistake, with Austin Pendleton, was in 2017 nominated for a Broadway World Cabaret Duo Award. She is also, and here's that other thing I was going to tell you about that you weren't aware of, maybe, about the wonderful Barbara BLEIER. She is a psychoanalyst. Yes, Barbara holds a PhD in clinical psychology and a certificate in psychoanalysis from NYU, where she's an adjunct clinical supervisor in the postdoctoral program in psychoanalysis and psychotherapy. See what I mean? That's what I was talking about. The understanding of the human mind, the mindset, wellness, as well as the human condition. It makes for a wonderfully understandable, relatable, brilliant performance when you have that understanding of life and people. And Barbara has shown that time and time again with her work on film, on stage, in television, and so much more. My pleasure to welcome her to the Jim Masters Show Live. Here she is. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. And I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, it is my pleasure, my pleasure. And I tell you, when I have an opportunity to chat with folks, I like to not only welcome them to the show, but I like to share elements about their life with the audience. Like, for example, the psychoanalysis background that you have. I don't know if everybody really knows that. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, usually it's in the background
But I bet you call upon it a lot
a lot.
when you have a scene, and when you're maybe working on a project. You have an understanding. You can really get into the understanding of the character. It might give you almost like a little bit of an edge because of that.
Yeah, it's very much a part of me, and I guess it infuses pretty much anything I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was talking about some of the amazing things that you've done over your career and continue to do, Barbara. One of the things that I really liked hearing was that you saw the interview that we did with your wonderful, dear, longtime friend, Austin Pendleton, now our friend, and how much you enjoyed that conversation we had, I guess, huh?
Yes, I'm one of the people, and I've known Austin for 3 decades, okay? And yeah, just about coming on. And I heard things I didn't know.
It's amazing what happens,
Yeah.
right? You get into
So
a really good rhythm.
hats off to you, Jim.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Coming from a card-carrying psychoanalyst.
That's it. Stamp of approval. I
Yeah.
understand the human. Well, people have described me as a couple of different things, which you'll probably relate to right away. And I'm talking about people that are in an expert area of
Yeah.
like what you do. They've said operating from a higher consciousness, intuitive, high level empath. Those are constantly being referred to when people are mentioning me. And I've sort of done a little investigation on that. And I would say that they're probably right with a lot of it.
Say so from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's cool. So you can relate to people. So let's talk about your brilliant career, because again, it really is an honor and a pleasure to have you here. How did you first get started? What were some of those early inspirations for you, Barbara, that inspired you to want to get into the world of performance? And on what came first? Was it the study of psychology and all first, and then the performing arts, or was the performing arts first and then the rest followed, or were they both happening at the same time?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yes. I started out actually at age probably around 4 as a classical pianist. My mother was determined that I was going to be a concert pianist. Actually, she wanted me to be a violinist. They started me on the violin, but I threw it. And they figured the piano was too heavy to throw. So I learned piano. Music was really my first language. Um, I read music, I think, before I read English. Um, and I performed from the time I was 4 on. It was the age of the child protege. And oh, I just saw Renee Katz come up there. Renee Katz was at Music and Art shortly after I was at Music and Art. Hi, Marianne. Anyhow, so I started out as a musician, and that's really, I loved it, and it's what I wanted to do. I went to Music and Art High School, which is now LaGuardia. At that time, Music and Art and Performing Arts were separate schools. And I was the singer with the dance band, uh, which I loved doing. I just loved doing. So later on, I worked my way through college, singing at weddings and bar mitzvahs and other social functions, as well as coffee houses and that kind of thing. Taught piano. But at 15, my first boyfriend was a psychologist. He had a master's in psychology at that time, later went on to a PhD, and I thought, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
So he gave me books to read, and I read them, and I really got intrigued. And so when I entered college, I decided to be a psychology major. And it's been a wonderful trip, I have to tell you. It really has. I mean, one of the things about being a psychologist is that you never spend the same day twice.
Right.
I mean, there's always something new to learn, something new to understand and put together. And it's, you know, kind of like detective work. And I've got to say, I loved it.
I bet you're learning a lot about yourself too. You learned a lot about yourself. It's amazing how it works, right, Barbara?
Yes. I mean, a good session is one where you learn something about yourself. And after I had, well, I'm just thinking about music and psychology at the same time, where it was at the same time, I was working at an inpatient hospital as an intern. And I went down to the basement for something, and I hear this amazing, amazing piano music coming out of the room. And I walked to the door of the room, and there was a guy who was a patient in the hospital, and he was playing Bach, and he was playing Bach gorgeously.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I just stood there, and I asked about him on the ward, and they told me he hadn't talked at all for years. So I thought, let's use music. And I just stood there for a number of days, and occasionally we did exchange a word or two about music. And then I said, I'll make a deal with you. I'll work with you as an analyst if you teach me piano and take me further than where I am. And I had a supervisor because I was an intern. So we worked it that way. It was 3 layers. He taught me piano. I worked with him as a patient, and my supervisor supervised the sessions. And it was one of the best experiences I've had.
That's amazing, huh?
It really was.
And that's stuck with you, right? That's something
right. And he did talk. He did talk. But music was his language, like it was my first language.
So it's interesting you had said early on that it was the violin that was that first introduction instrument-wise. For me too. I did violin in school as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a very difficult instrument to master.
My sister was a professional
violinist. Very difficult to master, but a beautiful instrument. You know, it's funny. I interviewed on another show that I host, a television news magazine show. I interviewed a professional cellist and graduated from Juilliard and a wonderful, illustrious career as a cellist. And I had asked the person in the interview, I said, you know, I'm very musical. I'm very visual. I hear everything deeply. I feel everything deeply. I tend to be a why person. I ask why versus the how and the what. I need to feel the why. Then we can work on the how and the what and the when and the where. So the why is important for me. So I said to the cellist in the conversation, said, you know, this may sound strange, but I have to throw this out there. You've been doing this for a long time. You're a professional when it comes to the cello. I said, I absolutely love the sound. I love all instruments, but I really, for some reason, whenever I hear the sound of the cello,
it's gorgeous.
It stops me. It stops traffic for me. I think it's just the tonality, the depth, the warmth, the sort of monumental feeling that it has. And I said, I can hear the cello from a mile away, and it really sticks out when it's in music. Could be holiday music, could be anything.
There are some wonderful films on YouTube of James Taylor and Yo-Yo Ma doing this.
Mm.
And it's amazing. It's something gorgeous.
There's a wonderful CD. It's a little melancholy, but it's beautiful, by David Darling, called Cello Blue. And it's
Mm.
really, really beautiful, really
Ooh.
beautiful. So what I said to him, I said, now this might sound a little, different to you. I don't know if anybody's ever expressed this to you as the cellist, but for me, whenever I hear the sound of the cello, it immediately makes me think of the human heart, meaning that to me, if the heart made a sound that mimicked the sound of an instrument, that depth, the tonality, the warmth, the monumental nature of that sound of the deep cello, which almost can be a little melancholy sometimes, but that warmth and depth of that cello, to me, would be what the heart would sound like if the heart could play an instrument. And the cellist
Or
said,
it would be an alto.
right, which we found out I'm an alto and you're an alto.
Yes.
Like I was telling you, it was 6th grade. Mrs. Sebastian in music class said, James, you are an alto. You guys go over there. The sopranos, you go over there. And the rest of you in the middle, just figure something out. But I said, to me, the cello represented the sound of a heart. And he said, I understand that right away. That isn't crazy to say that. And I said, why? You're the cellist? You tell me. He said, because in sound, it is the closest to the human voice. So that's why you're assessing a human connection to the cello.
Yeah.
And it just totally stops traffic for you,
Yeah.
which I think was quite amazing. There's different instruments that do that for people. For me, the cello, I mean, I love all instruments, but the cello does that. Sometimes I think the flute can do that as well. The sound of the flute has a certain sound.
Or a saxophone.
Saxophone as well. Yeah. Harp. So it's really great when I tend to humanize a lot of inanimate objects anyway. That's probably why I'm in this creative industry. I could take a chair and give it a whole life story, because I'm a chair collector as well. We have a lot of chairs in the house. Yeah. Yeah. So take us from there. So then, as that was developing for you in your career, Barbara, what were some of the opportunities that were developing for you that you started to really pursue as you realized you were destined to do this? It's in your DNA, and you love performance and lifting others.
I cut it out of my life for a while, for a rather long while.
Was there a reason?
Maybe on the piano, too much too soon. But singing always felt good. And I always used to sing at parties or whatever, we were involved in. And one year, a clinic that I was supervising at asked me to sing at a fundraiser. And I thought, well, why not? So I did. And I realized how much I missed this, how much a part of my life it is. And that I really had to go back to it. And I couldn't go back to it on the piano. So I decided for the first time to take formal singing lessons. And I just felt like I had come home. And I did both for a while. I worked as an analyst in private practice or community mental health. And I also sang. And I decided to take acting lessons to help me with the music that I sing, because I always sing story songs. And so I just took an acting class. And that was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And I started doing that also. And after, about 20 years of doing it all, I decided, I had gotten offers to go out of town to perform. And I couldn't take them because I had to practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, all right, my kids are grown. I don't have to support anybody but myself. And let's take a chance on this. So I phased out my practice over a couple of years, and my first job on the road was at the Royal Theatre in Romania.
Mm, mm.
I mean, when I say on the road,
Yeah, yeah,
on the road.
yeah. That's the road. And what was that like for you? That experience, that opportunity? That must have been really
It was fantastic.
a blessing. Yeah,
It really was. First of all, it was one of these theaters with red velvet seats and plush and proscenium arch, and it was just, it sort of looked like the Met.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And of course, I don't speak a word of Romanian, but it was an international play festival. So they had translations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wonderful. It was a 3-person piece about a woman who had been in a concentration camp. And someone played my younger self, and I played my older self. And there was an SS guard.
Mm.
And it was really a fabulous experience.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, huh? So that you were left with a lot there to take back home with you, and
Yeah.
and
Also, people tell you Romanian is like French. It's
what did you discover about it?
that I didn't understand a word because I was so busy learning the script. So I went off by myself one day to walk around and got hopelessly lost and managed to signal to people, hand signal, where I was trying to get back.
Get through, right?
Got myself back. But it was amazing.
That's incredible. So after that, with the response to being involved in that production, what happened from there for you? Yes, let's have our toast. And what do you have there?
I have a hint.
Over a hint. Oh, really? So it looks like it's an orange flavored.
Yes, clementine essence.
Very nice.
With no sweetener.
No sweetener at all.
Just clementine essence. So
well, we toast to you.
And to you.
Ching,
and
ching.
To the wonderful show. And to our audience.
Mm-hmm. Ah, that tastes good. So that was an amazing experience for you, Barbara, and a real blessing and a joy, as you say. What happened from there? I mean, once you do something like that, then all of a sudden the notoriety builds, and then probably other offers started coming to be involved. Tell us about that process.
Well, I did, a fair amount of off Broadway. And this is how I met Austin, okay?
Yeah.
I was studying with him. This was in, I think, 1999. And I was also putting up a solo cabaret show. And there was a song that I wanted to do, a Maltby-Shire duet. And I needed a guy to do it with. So I asked Austin if he'd be interested in doing a duet in my show.
That's fantastic.
And Austin, in his own inimitable way, said, "You're offering me one song?" So I said, "Listen, do you want half a show?" He said, "Sure." And we've been working together ever since, doing cabaret together. He's directed work that I've written. We were in a film together. But cabaret has been a joy with him. I mean, it really has. We've come up with things together, and it was intermittent for a long time. But the last 4 years or so, we've been working pretty steadily at it, and really just enjoying the hell out of
it. During this unusual time that we've all been living through in the last few months here, seems like the months feel like years now. What have you been doing? What are some things that you've been doing to to keep those creative juices flowing, to keep connected, and to just to keep things in a forward motion for you, Barbara?
Yeah. Well, I've been taking online voice lessons with the most wonderful voice teacher in the world, who literally changed my life. I started working with about 6 years ago, Barbara Mayer Gustern. And when I asked the person who recommended her, well, what does she do? You know, how does she work? She said, whatever you do, she's going to make you do it better. And I have close to another octave since I've been working with her. She just is so specific and wonderful. And she also is a wonderful cabaret director and has directed a bunch of our cabarets.
Mm.
So I've been taking online, virtual lessons with her, and she's become a dear friend. I have done a couple of public service announcements for Richard Skipper, his stay-at-home campaign and his mask campaign. Let's see, what else have I done? I did Broadway Goes Viral. Yeah, and sang something for them. And, just kind of working. Oh, and yes.
And
how can I forget this? I'm going to, on Sunday, be in a virtual production of I've just gone blank. That is ridiculous.
we have time.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, we have time. It'll come to you, I'm sure.
Well, it's definitely going. Oh, okay, it just came because I've been learning the script
Yeah.
of The Little Foxes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to play Birdie in The Little Foxes, and Austin's in the cast. My husband, who's an actor, Liam Mitchell, is in the cast. Tammy Faye Starlight, who, if you don't know her,
oh yeah,
she's wonderful. And Morgana Shaw is going to be in, and a couple of other actors
and
yeah,
and performers. That's wonderful. So that's it's a virtual.
Yeah, virtual reading.
The new reality, the new world, right?
Yes, and we're doing it for the Quarantine Theater,
which is really nice.
Yeah,
it's beautiful to give back as well.
Yeah.
So when you look at some of these experiences that you've had and continue to have, Barbara, what are some of the ones that really stand out for you in terms of you just felt so attached to that project? You felt so all in. I mean, I'm sure you're all in with everything you do, but there might be a few that really stand out for you as like, wow, that was an amazing experience to be a part of.
Well, the first time I had a play that I wrote put up, and I wasn't in it. The first time I had one that I wasn't in, not the one-woman show, I was in the audience and I was stunned by the feeling of helplessness. I mean, it was sort of like when my kids were in a performance at school, they're out there and they're alone and there's nothing I can do. If anything goes wrong, I just have to sit there. And that was a very shocking experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a sort of, the tables were turned and now you're watching it. You're watching your product come to life, which you couldn't necessarily.
Went to school.
And you can't jump on stage and fix things or do that. You have to just sit back and let it come at you. And but I would imagine that was also an interesting and beautiful experience as well. And almost in a way, as much as it was a feeling of helplessness, there was almost a slight feeling maybe of liberation. You can actually enjoy your work from a different perspective.
This is why I love your interview, because that's exactly right. There were things that didn't come out the way I planned them. And I learned other things about the play that I had written. Actors had their own take on it.
Right.
The director had her own take on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fascinating. You know, I sort of discovered what the play was about watching other people do it. Now, let's see, what other ones? Oh, This Is Where I Leave You was fabulous fun. I mean, I was in a scene with Jane Fonda and Tina Fey and Adam Driver was in it. And they were just all so wonderful. They were just wonderful. And I was a senior slut.
You know, I have to tell you, there was something very elegant and dramatic about that pause, the way you paused when you were searching for the name, just the way, the expression on your face, it was just, you were like reaching up. I can't explain it. I know what the viewers probably are getting what I'm getting. The way when you paused just to try to figure out the name, there was something very elegant and regal and very expressive about that, as if you were in a play right now.
Well,
it was amazing. You wouldn't see, this is where you wouldn't have seen it, but we saw it and it was terrific.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things I'll tell you that I learned studying with Austin was truly, truly, truly to be where I am at that moment. And, you know, not to try to get past it or whatever, just go with it. We were doing a cabaret together way back. And there's one of my favorite composers, a man named John Bacchino, who his lyrics and his music just give me goosebumps. And he is a good friend, and he's given me some unpublished work to do. But John never comes to see anybody do his work. So I'm getting ready for the show, and we're in the dressing room, and I go outside of the dressing room, and the room manager says, "Would you take a look at the comp list and tell us who you want to comp?" And I see John's name there. And I go running back into the dressing room, and I say, "Austin, this is it. I'm dropping the song out of the show. I can't do this."
Mm-hmm.
And Austin said, "Sing the song about John." And the name of the song was "If I Ever Say I'm Over You."
Mm. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, really. And, you know, it worked out fine. It worked out just fine. And that's something I take with me now. You know, wherever I am internally in a scene or in a song, you know, at the beginning of a show or whatever, that's where I am, and that has to inform the work. That has to tell me something about the character.
Do you, when you take on a role, or even in a song, when you know, when there's a
second, I hear footsteps.
You hear footsteps.
I want to introduce you to my husband, actor and playwright.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Where?
So we can get him in there.
This is a wonderful.
How are you?
Well. This was I don't want to interfere with your work here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
I interrupted what you were.
Did he bring you a piece of cake?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm going to have another swig of Clemens.
Another swig of hint.
Yeah.
So I was asking, and that was a nice cameo he made. He timed that perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to, you know.
He doesn't get the big bucks for nothing.
I was going to say, he didn't want to like trump your thunder in the beginning and pop in. He waited for a conversation to happen and then just glided right in. Very elegantly done. So, well, how did you, before I asked that other question, how did the two of you meet?
we met in an acting class, in Anne Jackson's acting class. It almost ended us because the first scene we did a scene from Michael Weller's The Shadow Box, and it was really fine. So we decided to do another scene. And by that time, we were each of us had just ended a relationship, and we were kind of drawn to one another, okay? And we decided to do something from Frankie and Johnny and the Clair de Lune. And of course, it went great in rehearsal. We did the love scene, and it was wonderful. We had a great time, and we brought it into Anne Jackson's class. And suddenly, we were both so self-conscious that the scene was a disaster. And Anne Jackson said, "You know, the problem that you're having is there's no chemistry." And I didn't know whether she was talking about the relationship or the scene. But I learned that you have to be Lunton Fontanne or Anne Jackson and Eli Wallach to do a scene with your significant other.
I love you have the best pauses. You really do, and people are commenting about it. You have the best. You have the best pauses.
That's one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me. I always love a good pause.
A pregnant one too. Pregnant pause. That's a whole other. So before he came in, and I pivoted to that question, and that was a wonderful answer. Thanks for sharing that with us, meeting each other in the acting class. I was asking about how much do you put of yourself into your character when you're playing a character. I've had a couple of people who have said, "Oh, well, I don't put any of myself in it. I just follow whatever the character is and who they are and what the script says." And then I've had other people say, "Oh, there's always a lot of me in a character. I'm sprinkling in little essences of who I am into the character because it helps me understand the character." Now, again, you have the psychoanalytical background, which is a third dimension, an extra dimension that you can really slip in there and analyzing and breaking down what a character is doing and how they think. But how much of Barbara is sprinkled into the character, or does that depend on the scenario, what the character is and what it calls for?
I think there's always some. I mean, I don't know how you can do any character, without something of yourself being. I mean, otherwise it's just it's abstract. And there are so many pieces of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that it seems to me every character has something one can relate to.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes for diversity and the interest in seeing different people play the same role.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And otherwise, it really, you'd say, "Okay, I've seen it."
Right.
And that's it.
They'll take on everybody has their different perspective. You can see the same character, or somebody can sing a song and everybody has their different style and the way the song is. And sometimes you just hear things a little differently. I've always been a believer that, you should listen to a song, whether it's vocal or instrumental, and listen to it multiple times before you make your determination, because I'm a big collector of music too, and a lot of instrumental music. And I have listened to songs where every single time I listen to it, I hear something different. I'll hear a little triangle in the background that I didn't hear the first time, or a little xylophone that I didn't hear the first time. And I think when you get a chance, that's why I've never been huge with reviews and things, only because I think you got to really see things and hear things a couple of times to sometimes see and hear what you've missed the first time to then appreciate it.
Absolutely.
you know, because
Yeah.
I've seen movies and I've seen television shows and listened to music where maybe everybody's saying this about it. And then I go on and I'm like, oh my God, that was absolutely incredible. But let me watch it again. And when I watch it again, oh, I didn't realize that the chair being over there is what made the difference, or the way the curtains were folded, or she said that line. You know, I didn't hear that the first time because in the movie theater, the other guy spent 20 minutes opening his Snickers bar, and the crunch, you know, took my ear to his wrapper. So I missed the line that she said.
I'm a sucker for a good chord. You know, I've got to say, I fall in love with chords.
Yes. Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're talking about the essence of you in your work. Do you have a preference as far as acting, singing, playwriting, any of it? If somebody was to define Barbara, which is a very hard thing to do with anybody, but what speaks to your heart first for you, and then the other things, maybe they are a close second and third?
That's interesting. The chords, certainly, and the lyric. I think the way I see myself as an actor or a singer and a singer is as a communicator. That's what I really want to do. And that's the link with psychoanalysis too. That, I really, I have a pleasant voice. I'm not a fabulous operatic voice. But getting underneath the lyric, understanding it, and having it backed up with the chords, it's sort of like having a film there. And, you have somebody like Alfred Newman writing the music for the film. And, it's just, that's my greatest joy in performing.
Yeah, absolutely. And acting, of course, you've enjoyed that as well. I even, it's amazing. You've done, even as I have too, you've even done infomercials. Do you recall some of the infomercials that you've done? I mean, I've done everything. I've never done a Wonder Mop or anything like that, but I've hosted a lot of others.
Well, that I did during the pandemic. I did one for a stay at home campaign,
Right.
and I just did one for a wear a mask campaign.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have to do that. You know, a couple people are asking if you're going to sing for us. They're actually asking that, but
Lovely. But my pianist is in London. The wonderful Paul Greenwood. He's in London.
Has he been in since everything started? Yeah. It has to be because there's no flights. Yeah.
No, he went on one of the last flights out because his significant other
Is there.
Is there.
Absolutely.
So,
but we have video that I want to show people too, so they can get a sense of some of one of the pieces that we do have, Barbara, is from Carnegie Hall, which is really, really nice. And let's see, Mary Ann says, exactly, I feel the same way. And each time I discover something new, which is wonderful. Jennifer asks, Barbara, what is your favorite home activity? So when you're home, like, I like to play instruments. We play music. I like to write. I'm a green thumb, so I'm a gardener. We play tennis. We cycle. We walk along the coast. We're active. What are some of the things you like to do? Do you cook, bake, sew, garden, write?
I missed that part. Cooking. I think when I was growing up, I really thought if I never learned to cook and I never learned to type, I would be all right. Because that's what women were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a great cook. There's a few things I make well. And it's not, my sons are amazing cooks.
Oh, that's good.
Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic.
I'm not.
Yeah. So they get to cook for you.
Yes. Well, they started cooking when they were very young.
Nice.
We had a policy of, okay, we all work. They work at school. I work, full time in my profession. And so we all took a night cooking. And when they were very little, they bring in pizza, or make a TV dinner or something.
Exactly, right.
And they started competing with one another.
Ah.
And both became superlative cooks. And Liam is a good cook. I'm okay. I can turn out a meal, but it's not my thing. I do have a green thumb.
You do.
I have a tiny little bungalow in Far Rockaway, 500 square feet. It's where I spent my happiest summers as a kid. Not in that particular bungalow, but in and I'm planting all the time there. And mostly,
that's nice.
And I work on lines or I vocalize at home, and I read a lot. I love it.
Yes, which is
my God, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to have escapes too, because the news is so negative and everything is always breaking. We have to have our things that we do that help us get in touch with the true essence of who we are, that allow us to celebrate, the nuances of who we are that we share with our world through.
I kind of inhale books.
You just inhale, right? Exactly. I do. One of the other things I like to do is photography as well. I'm always capturing. I get that from my father, and could be why I went into, the broadcast business. Is I like creating moments and memories, and also capturing them.
And also, it's sort of like acting in the sense that I'll say to someone who's a wonderful photographer, "Where did you see that?" And someone answered me, "In my eye."
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's your own take on something.
Here's an example of a sunset we captured just a couple of weeks ago outside our window.
Where is it? In your eye?
That was actually along the Connecticut coast.
It's beautiful.
Look at the colors in that, and the silhouette, and the way it's just framed, and there was nothing filtered or nothing done to it. It's just a raw photo. And
I love the sort of space in the middle.
Exactly, right. Exactly. It gives you sort of, exactly. And I'm somebody like that who, there are people who can go through life and never look up and notice that.
Yeah.
But I always notice those things. I notice a lot of the things and hear them and notice those things in life. And I'll be with family and friends and be like, "Wait, look at that, look at that." And people sometimes will be, "What?" I'm like, "Look at what look at that incredible architecture, or look at the sun setting, or the way the stars are."
It's just one of the wonderful things, I found about having young children. They just would have that take on things.
Wide-eyed. Yeah.
My nephew, for example, looked up at the stars and said, "Oh, a sky flower." And it's a different look at things.
It really is. And when you're amongst nature too, or when you're near the ocean, it's the same thing. I mean, you can go into the same garden, your garden, and see different things every day as the plants change and morph. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And gardening is also great because you're taking care of something. If you're a caretaker type, you're nurturing it. You're nurturing it, and then it pays dividends. You take care of it. This is the way I wish the world worked. You take care of it, it takes care of you, and we've taken care of each other.
Exactly.
And gardening is very therapeutic, as you know, as well. And
once I get my hands in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Oh, they're talking about that photo I just showed. Thank you very much, Rini and Merlin in Canada, and Christopher in Ohio. And Jennifer says, "Thank you for asking the question as far as what you like to do at home. Very beautiful. You look at all the beauty. It's so peaceful looking at the stars at night." It really is. Sometimes I've gone out at 2 a.m, out on the patio, just looking up at the sky, especially now in the summertime, because then it makes you feel like, I remember being a kid when we would lay on our lawn in the backyard as kids and just look up at the stars. All the kids would just look up at the stars. I don't know if kids are doing that anymore, but it's a great thing. It costs nothing. And you can just have a wonderful...
If you go out on my deck and rock away at 2 o'clock in the morning, what you're most likely to see is a raccoon.
So we're going to share a couple of things that have been sent to us. And one is Carnegie Hall, I believe. And we've got some photos too. This is from Bits and Pieces. So we'll share that. And you guys wanted to hear her sing. So we do have some video of the lovely Barbara BLEIER singing for you right here. And here we go. And we'll be right back. Enjoy, everybody.
When I was 4, the music started in my soul. My fingers found a language on the keys. The world around me disappeared, and I was home in a land where I do as I please. Before too long, I learned to read and write the dots. I filled the pages with my childish scrawl. My father said, you practice hard, and one day, child, you're gonna play Carnegie Hall. I asked, who plays in that great place? He said, only the best of the best. And as a smile lit up his face, I took what he said as a test. So I doubled up my efforts and I practiced hard. I listened to the greats that came before. The wondrous things I heard caught fire in my soul, inspiring me to learn more. Then, as it happens, good things turn to better things, until one fateful day I got the call that said I'd be performing with some big name stars at a concert in Carnegie Hall. Dad stood there, taking in the place. He said, you're with the best of the best. And as the tears ran down his face, I buried my head in his chest. Now music was the bond we shared until he died, and music is what ties me to him still. The love of rhythm, rhyme, and notes he fed in me have always been life's greatest thrill. Now I've stood on this stage a dozen times or more, but the first time is the one I most recall. The thought that I was playing in this hallowed space, the ghosts that seemed to hold me in their warm embrace, the pride that I saw shining in my father's face when he saw me at Carnegie Hall.
Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Love that song. Love that song. You sing it with such warmth and depth and meaning, and you can feel the pride and taking on a material like Carnegie Hall and what the parent would feel when you've made it, when you've practiced, and you've gotten there. You sing it with just such joy and depth. It's really beautiful, Barbara.
Thank you. It has a history, this song. It was written by Michael Feinstein and John Bacchino for the 125th anniversary of Carnegie Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there. I heard them do it. John played it and Michael sang it. And I was in tears because I have played in Carnegie Hall. And I asked John for the song, and he gave it to me. So it's not published, and I'm very fortunate to have as friends composers who write things like this. I mean, talk about chords.
Oh,
And by the way, last year, my youngest grandson played at Carnegie Hall.
That's
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I haven't played, but I've been on stage as master of ceremonies for several events. Composer Tim Janis puts on a beautiful holiday concert every year. He's a dear friend. I've interviewed him on public television many times, and we've stayed in touch. We worked on public television specials together, and he brings in a 200 voice youth choir and 200 piece orchestra. Wow. All of these brilliant performers, actors, singers from James Galway, the flautist. And Sarah McLachlan and Neil Sedaka, and just on and on. Mairead Nesbitt is a friend, the Celtic violinist. And they put on a beautiful performance. So I've emceed that multiple times at Carnegie Hall. It's just, there's something very special when you're there. It doesn't have, what's interesting, it doesn't have all of the neon lights and all that glitz and glamour. It's just very authentic and very...
It has ghosts. It really does.
Has ghosts, and it's understated in its prominence and elegance. It's got an understated nature where it's like, we don't need to have blinking signs outside or anything. It's just there. And before I went into television and radio and broadcasting and media, I studied architecture and design.
Really?
So when I go into places like a Carnegie Hall, I'm just really studying the architecture and just the nuances of the structure and the colors and the shadowing and really beautiful. The work that went into buildings and things, churches and everything. Years ago, you look up at things and just unbelievable.
One of my worst experiences at Carnegie Hall, I must have been about 14. And I think I was hearing a Horowitz or Livingston concert. And I was wearing my first pair of heels. And I felt very, very good. And I walked down the stairs and I fell.
Oh.
Now, that's not the worst part of it. The worst part is someone said, "What happened?" And someone else answered, "A little girl fell down the stairs." My heart is broken.
That sticks with you. Yeah. Sticks with you as well. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. The things that happen. We have another piece here, and I'm going to share this, and then we could talk about this when we come back a little bit more of the lovely Barbara doing her thing. Enjoy, everybody.
Late last November, the telephone rang. She was sweeping the kitchen floor when a voice from the past said, "Are you Anna Jean? Did you live in Greenville in 1924? And do you remember the first boy you kissed out behind the old gym?" She said, "You always remember your very first beau." And he said, "Well, you're talking to him." It was old love, so long ago, and yet through the time and the tears and the passage of years, some things the heart can't forget. Her heart skipped a beat when he said, "Can we meet? There's something I'd like you to see. It's a picture in glass of a second grade class. I'm standing there smiling with you next to me." Then she turned her eyes to her old grand piano where a picture stood in its place. It was old, it was worn, it was wrinkled and torn, but she knew the smile on that face. It was old love, so long ago, and yet through the time and the tears tears and the passage of years. Some things the heart can't forget. They met in the park and they talked until dark, while the moon was aglow in the trees. Then he took her hand and got down on his knees. I've got 2 questions to ask, if you please. Will you consider becoming my wife? We both know I'm not a young pup. And when she said,
Yes. Now what's the next question? He said,
will you help me get up? It was old love, so long ago, and yet through the time and the tears and the passage of years, some things the heart can't forget. Yes, some things the heart won't forget.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Now, what was that like? I mean, a lot of wonderful comments coming in with you and Austin. That's very, very beautifully done. What was that like doing that on stage together?
oh, it was wonderful. I mean, it always is.
Yeah.
You know, somehow we're very much in sync with things. We can kind of, I don't know how to put it exactly, but it's always like a conversation, and it's always a surprising conversation. We never do the same thing twice.
You never do the same thing twice. Exactly. And you just, you know, you can just really feel the essence of also the respect that you have for one another. That is so evident, and the appreciation for one another's talents, and the blood, sweat, and tears, and the toil and everything that you go through. Because, you know, to get where you're at, you have to put the time in and hone the skill and make sacrifices in life, and all the different things we all do, especially if you're in the creative side of things, as we are. You can see that, and you both equally and perfectly complemented each other in that performance. And I'm sure that's something that happens all the time with Austin.
It does. It does. You know, we sort of pick up from one another. I mean, we were performing in Chicago once, and, you know, it was something from Guys and Dolls. It might have been Adelaide's Lament. And Austin stomped off the stage. No, it was Marry the Man Today and Change His Ways Tomorrow. And so I stomped off the stage after him. You know, neither one of us had any intention of doing that, but we did, you know. We just sort of take our cues from one another.
Right, exactly. And when you have somebody like that you're able to do a duet with, where the complimenting each other is just so automatic, it's a beautiful thing. Peggy says, that song was beautiful. How can I get some of the songs? I would love to sing them. I love them, but Chocolate Diva wants to know.
Actually, a lot of them are unpublished. That song is by Amanda McBroom and Michelle Brown.
Yes, and we had Michelle on the show.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, she was
wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful. And we have more that we want. Our research department did some hard work here, and we have another wonderful performance we want to share. These are being seen exclusively here on the Jim Masters Show Live, so we appreciate them being shared here on our show. And here's another one, and we'll talk about this one. Enjoy more of the lovely essence and beauty inside and out of the incomparable Barbara BLEIER. Here we go.
You came to me this morning and you handled me like meat. Do you have to be a man to know how good that feels? How sweet? My mirrored twin, my next of kin, I know you in my sleep. And who but you would take me in 1,000 kisses deep? I loved you when you opened like a lily to the heat. You see, I'm just another snowman, standing in the rain and sleet, who loved you with my frozen love, my second-hand physique, with all I am and all I was, 1,000 kisses deep. I'm good at love, I'm good at hate. It's in between I freeze. Been working out, but it's too late. It's been too late for years. But you look good, you really do. They love you on the street. If you were here, I'd kneel for you. 1,000 kisses deep. And I'm still working with the wine, still dancing cheek to cheek. The band is playing Old Lang Syne, but the heart will not retreat. Our perfect porn aristocrat, so elegant and cheap. I'm old, but I'm still into that. 1,000 kisses deep. I loved you when you opened like a lily to the heat. You see, I'm just another snowman standing in the rain and sleet, who loved you with my frozen love, my second-hand physique, with all I am and all we were, 1,000 kisses deep. Well, that's my story, I admit it. It's broken and it's bleak, but all the twisted pieces fit, 1,000 kisses deep. But you don't have to hear me now. And every word I speak, it counts against me anyhow. 1,000 kisses deep.
That was absolutely, again, you know, as it says, this is Lovity on the Jim Masters Show Live. It really, really is. You sing with such heart and with such soul. You really, do you ever get knocked out? Meaning, like when I do stuff, even doing this, again, you know, I do this stuff professionally in the professional world, but even when I'm done wrapping up shows like this, I'm knocked out. I'm wired for hours. Go to bed at 2 a.m. because I'm so excited about how the show went and all the interaction, and I'm such in the zone, and I'm hearing and I'm listening and I'm interacting and I see everything that's going on. But at the same time, you just get knocked on your feet because what you just did, or what you were involved in, or what you were interpreting or sharing with people that help lift them and maybe connect with them that they related to. take so much of you, and you give so much of yourself. And it's extraordinary. I mean, it's hard to even put that in words or script those feelings that you get when you're doing that. But I imagine that happens to you all the time as well, right, Barbara?
Yes, very much so. When I get off stage, they're there with a martini.
Yeah, yeah, right. Well, that's a good scenario. I like that. Why doesn't that happen when I get out of the studio at the television station?
Nobody's there with a martini?
They don't have the martini. No.
Oh, God.
I'll have to make some adjustments when this,
Yes,
when all of this is over and we're back in the TV studios and everything.
You have to have your people talk to them.
I was going to say, I mean, I always have to bring my own. I don't know. I have to rewrite some contracts.
Yes,
So you also have an opportunity to talk to those who are up and coming, those who want to do this kind of work, who want to share, who want to perform, who want to entertain. Do you have those opportunities to do that? Mentor, teach others? Tell us about that and the joy that brings you to pass that knowledge along to those who want to do similar things.
Well, I don't have many answers, because I don't have to tell you this is a rough business, you know. Oh, I just saw a note from John Bacchino. My heart. Okay. Anyway, it's a rough business.
He's coming on the show in a couple of weeks too as our guest.
Oh, you will love him, Jim. You will love him. He is the best people in the world, and a composer like no other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway,
yeah.
Getting back to your question, you know, you never know what's gonna happen, what's gonna be good, what's not gonna be good.
Right.
You know, and you just have to roll with it. It's the most I can say.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know when you're going to work. You don't know if you're going to work. You don't know how any given performance is, you know, whether it's good or bad. You know, you just do it. You just do it because you got to do it.
And buy stock in Alka-Seltzer along the way.
Yes, and if you're looking for structure, this is not the place.
Yeah. Now, did that draw you in? Is that one of the things that you?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Is that one of the things that you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. That's really interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of it and I wouldn't have put it that way, but I think it did.
So it's almost like you can't.
It's flying without a net.
Yeah, you couldn't be in a cubicle doing a rote task day after day after day in a square box in a gray room where it's just do that, you know, do the data entry and then go home, do the data entry. You need to some of the craziness of the chaos, the unpredictability, the frustration, the annoyance, but also all of the grand and beautiful things that happen as you create, because you have the ability to really be expressive, where sometimes if you are just in that cubicle pressing buttons, you don't really get to express anything. You're just doing a task.
That's another similarity with psychoanalysis, by the way. You know, when I say you never spend the same day twice,
right?
You know, it's also flying without a net.
And you know what it does too? It builds strength and resilience, because you're overcoming the fear of not having the predictability, the stability of the routine of the day to day. Every day is something different. And for a lot of people, that's what the fear of having to have that happen is overwhelming, where they get stuck and they never pursue that creative thing that's yearning and burning inside them. So I think once you get through all of that, and past it, not that every day's, like I said in the beginning, always perfect, you still have an opportunity to build this resilience. There's rejection, there's disappointment, there's failure, there's crises, there's all these things that happen, and that can all happen in just one day.
Right.
But it also helps you, I think, to master the understanding of self, because it's so much of self that's called upon to be able to put these puzzle pieces together, to be able to work with all these different personalities, to be in different scenes and locations and different scenarios, take on different roles, be thrust into something within seconds sometimes, like I've always had live on television. Jim, just the place is on fire, run out there and just do something. And those are the times when most people would most people would freeze and they'd be like, I don't know what to do. Where for me, I love it because, it's interesting. I hate it and love it at the same time. I try to do everything in my day to prevent problems, to prevent disaster.
And
yet the stuff happens anyway. So what'll happen is it won't maybe happen as big a level as it would have if no attention was paid to it.
Yes.
So it's the same thing with being tasked with having to run out there to make something happen. People will say, well, gee, I don't understand. You look so calm and cool and collected, and your voice was so soothing, and you were on point, and everything, you made it flow, and nothing seemed like it wasn't supposed to happen that way. But inside for me, the adrenaline is flowing, all cylinders are firing. I hear everything, I see everything.
You don't get to sleep for another 6 hours.
Right. I'm in the zone. I'm on because I know all of this dependence on me is happening. So I need to go out there, make something happen, but make it almost look like whatever disaster is going on behind me. Oh, this was all supposed to happen this way. So I'm here to sort of let's thread it together and make it more positive and pleasant than it might be behind me. So I think that's an interesting thing. And I've studied that about myself, how I really don't like chaos, and I always try to prevent problems, and I always try to make things easy, but yet I'm extraordinarily fantastic when those things happen. And it's like the same thing with you when you're out there and you have to make it happen at times when, you see something in the corner of your eye where there's something wrong over there on stage or something's happening there, but you have to still stay true to form and just do what you have to do to get through it. And I think, like you say, the unpredictability and the understanding that each day isn't going to be the same, that could be a beautiful thing as well, because
it is.
Different essences and nuances of who you are tapped into, because if you're just doing that one rote task all day long, there's not a lot of you that's being tapped into. It's the same part of you. But if you're doing all these different things and each day is different, it's a beautiful way to learn about yourself as much as it is share yourself with others, right?
And also, what you were saying when we spoke before about being real, that sometimes you have to dress that thing in the corner.
Right.
And so you do. Even if you're on stage.
You work it into the bit sometimes too. Yeah. The chair that only has the 3 legs.
Yeah, exactly.
You work that into the bit.
Exactly.
Which is where the skill comes in, but where the excitement and the creativity comes in. So the excitement draws us in as well. When you look at your body of work, when you look at all of these wonderful projects and people and things that you've had an opportunity to be a part of and continued to, what are some of the things that give you the blessing and the inspiration to continue to want to do this work and entertain and create and perform and collaborate?
I think it comes down to people for me.
Yeah.
It really does. The people I work with, the people who write the songs that I sing, the playwrights who write the plays, and my husband, my children, and my grandchildren, who are a constant source of inspiration. And I have to put my daughter-in-law in there too, who's an actor, a wonderful actor. And, you know, it's just a very special kind of love.
Merlin asks, have you worked with children in some of your work?
No, I haven't. I've had children, but I haven't worked with children.
Your children, have they, are they in this line of work as well?
One of my sons started out being in this line of work. He starred in an award-winning film. Do you remember Swoon?
Mm-hmm.
About the Leopold murders. But he really didn't like the life. And so he became a prosecutor.
Mm.
And his skills come in.
Yes.
And my other son is a builder. And, you know, he loves it. I mean, he just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jennifer asks,
my daughter-in-law is an actor, and my husband is.
And your husband as well, yeah. Do you love the, Jennifer asks, do you love the mountains or the beach for your Zen, Barbara?
Beach.
The beach.
No question about it. I get claustrophobic in the mountains.
Yeah, me too.
I like expanses.
Yes, I do as well. It's great. Rini says it's great to have the dynamic of healthcare worker and being in the arts, helping people work through fear and then working through it yourself and projecting joy on stage. So the combination, that's what we've been talking about.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, which is a really beautiful thing, right?
Thank you.
So what are some other projects and other things that you're working on now, Barbara?
Well, I was supposed to do a solo show in April, and we all know what happened with that.
Yeah.
And Austin and I have 3 dates in September, and we all know what's likely to happen with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe we'll do some virtual stuff because we're both dying to get back to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's been too long, right? It's
really
going on and on and on. I have some more wonderful photos that I would like to share as well that our research department dug up, and some really nice shots here. Here's one.
Oh, that was at Abingdon Theater.
Mm-hmm.
We did one act, and I think I sang in between the one acts.
Mm.
The music that led to the next one act.
Very nice, very nice.
Dan Buttram there, who was the artistic director of Abingdon at that time.
Look what I found here. We're going to go back a little bit in time here. I love this shot. This shot is really wonderful.
Oh, 1960s, yes, or 70s.
Playing guitar, that's you. That is Barbara, everybody.
The Coffee House Barbara.
That's the Coffee House Barbara, yes. Where were you? Do you recall where you were when the shot was taken?
Actually, in my backyard. I was living in Park Slope at the time. And I had some friends over, and we were all making music in the backyard.
Very, very nice. Cool. Very nice. We've got some more here. Here's another one. We were talking about the violin.
Oh my gosh.
You and me both. Yeah. The violin. Now,
throw yours.
Did you stick with it or no? No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one, but those are great shots. Wow. I love that. See, these are shots of Barbara. And there's the one I showed earlier too.
Yeah, I think this one I was about 3 years old.
3 years old. Wow. Wow.
Through the violin.
So that was only 30 years ago then, right?
Right. Oh, yes.
Of course.
Oh, you have great insight.
That's it. And here's the one with Austin. And who's with Austin in the shot?
We did a Maltby and Shire.
Ah, that's right.
That was Richard Maltby. And I think this is after Bits and Pieces, judging my dress. And Richard Maltby and I did a duet.
Very nice, very nice. And here is, and of course, we love that. That's a really great shot and wonderful expression.
Pinto.
Yes.
She's the cabaret nurse.
The Little Foxes.
The Little Foxes this Sunday at 7 o'clock, Quarantine Theater.
Quarantine Theater. Look at this shot here.
Oh, that was my headshot for piano recitals.
Very, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There is Barbara. Isn't that a great shot, everybody? And here too.
That was a wonderful film. Came out, it's still on Amazon Prime. That Jameson Locascio wrote, directed. He's like this young genius filmmaker, and it won 1 million awards.
And that's the thing. Tell us about that.
There.
And that's your husband. Yeah. Yes, Sunset is available, and it was a fantastic movie. Tell us about that as well. Tell us about, and of course, don't you love the beautiful sunset background we have?
Yes,
perfectly timed, right? Our production value is very high here on the show. What was that like, and what has it been like being in films, working in movies? That's a whole other experience too, because it takes hours, and you say a couple lines, they have to reshoot it, right. And then you're up against the sun setting, and everything has to match. You can be sitting there for days waiting for your part to come in.
Oh, hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. So tell us about the experiences that you've had in performances like Sunset and others along the way, Barbara.
That was an unusual one because the filmmakers, the camera people, everybody on that set was just wonderful.
Mm.
And Jameson doesn't do a lot of takes. I mean, if he's happy with a take, he'll let it be.
Mm-hmm.
I think my worst experience with film is I hate to see myself in films.
Do you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors who are in major blockbusters even today, where they won't watch now, will you watch other things you've done, like those videos we just showed, you on stage, you doing other things, but not television commercials, but not
large. I don't watch what I do. This is the first time I've ever videoed a show.
So is it that you feel, because I asked this question on somebody before, and they had their answer was because they are now detached from what that thing was, and they're focused on the next thing.
No,
that's why they don't watch their stuff.
I get caught in things that I don't like to get caught in, like, oh my God, I look fat there. Or whatever, I finally found a way to watch myself in films, which is to say, okay, is that character believable? And the character and not me.
That is extraordinary you said that, because that's exactly the answer that I give to people, and that I gave to the actor that I was talking to. Because he had asked, well, what about you, Jim? Do you watch back work, or if you're hosting something or doing something on television and they're airing it, and at 8 o'clock at night on network TV that's going to be on, do you watch it, or will you watch it later? Or if you get a copy of it, on DVD or whatever it is, will you watch it? And I say, actually, yes. But the reason why I watch it is I'm critiquing the performance, I'm critiquing, and because what's interesting about it is, in the beginning, I don't like anything I just did. Mm-hmm. I could even do this entire show that we're doing right now, and I won't like it right away. Everybody else, I love it. It's terrific. This is fantastic. You guys are great. Love it. But for me, because I have such self-imposed standards and I'm striving for excellence and everything, while making things fun and relaxed and enjoyable. Usually when I see things or hear things that I've done, I usually do not like it right away. Mm-hmm. And it's because of I think it's because of the shock value, meaning, I'm seeing everything out of my eyes looking this way. And now, like when you said you felt helpless when you were in the audience seeing your work on stage, there's a little bit of that in reverse when you see yourself on television and movies or what have you. Because you're seeing it as in the view that everybody else is seeing it, which is totally different. You're the camera lens looking out. Now you're seeing it through their eyes. So that's exactly what I do. I say, I will watch it, but I detach myself from it. I'll critique myself and say, okay, you know, oh, that was good. Oh, that was a funny line. Oh, yeah, that worked. Or, but if I have people with me, I'll say, okay, now when we watch this, forget that you know me. Forget that I'm your, you know, relative, your friend, what have you, your loved one. Let's watch this as if I'm not here. And would you be convinced by what that guy just did? Would you be convinced by what he just said, or that expression, or that funny quip, or witty line? Would that have, and I put myself in that same position. I detach and say, would I be convinced by what was just done?
Exactly.
So I have found that I can pull tapes out now that I did 20 years ago of work on television, radio shows, whatever. And now, because the emotional investment that was made as I was doing it has ceased, because that was happening then. So that all on emotion investment that I made has subsided. Now I'm watching it, you know, for just the value of watching what it is. So the emotional investment is not there as it was. So now I can appreciate the actual work. And now I understand what everybody was saying. Oh, that was brilliant. That was great. You were terrific. Oh, what are you talking about? That was excellent. When people say that right after I did something, Barbara, I hear it, but it doesn't register for me yet. I need to watch it back with the emotional investment detached. Then I can appreciate what everybody was saying. So I could pull tapes out from 20 years ago, and now I get what they were saying, but it can't be like right after.
Exactly.
Because I'm still so in it. You find that too, right?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
That's an amazing thing that you said that, as far as you have to take yourself out of the picture. And would you be convinced by what you are seeing of yourself and what you're saying? That's an interesting thing. I wonder why we do that. Why do we have to be detached almost from the work? Is it because of the emotional investment we're making in our work?
I think it's a little narcissism too.
So you're looking for things to criticize and to correct and to, you know, why did you go with the red shirt? Why did you do your hair that way?
Right. You know, and I get distracted by all that. I had one experience where I was doing a commercial for the Democratic Party. And it was, I think, which was 2000 election it was. Howard Dean was running, and it was a healthcare commercial. And John Sayles was directing it. And he sent everybody to makeup except me. And I said, no makeup? And he said, no. Okay. He's John Sayles. So I'm sitting in a box with Liam, my husband, and Howard Dean and his mother in the Hammerstein Ballroom, and my commercial comes on. Full screen, big, really big. I mean, if I had a pore or a wrinkle, it showed. And no makeup. And I was about to dive out of the box. And I said to my husband, oh my God, I don't look like that, do I? And he said, it looks exactly like you. It almost led to divorce. But anyway.
So now does he adjust his answers if asked? No, just still.
No, he's honest.
Yeah, which in the long run you prefer, right?
Definitely.
That's fantastic. Is there anything that you haven't done, Barbara, that you would still love to do?
Yes.
Yeah, you said that fast. Some people say, oh, I think I've done everything. Oh, no, I can't think of anything. You had a quick answer. What is that, Barbara?
I want to play Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd. Simple.
And the reason is?
Because I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there any, you feel connected to that character?
Well, yeah, I guess I do. I mean, there must be something of me that would make me pies.
Yeah, right. Is your coffee ready?
No, it was a text.
Oh, people are watching saying you're doing a brilliant job, Barbara. We love you. Lovely. So that's great. That's a good aspiration. That's a wonderful aspiration to have as well. You know, that's beautiful. So some of the things that you do are, you know, extraordinary because you leave impact. You leave people sometimes even thinking about who they are and their, you know, understanding of life through performance, which I think is a beautiful thing when you're able to do that. Why does this, I don't even call it work, but why does what you do continue to bring you such joy and love as much as it does for you, Barbara?
It really is what you said. It's about touching people. It's about making a connection.
It really is, isn't it? Yeah. And when you have an opportunity to do that and you do it in such a beautiful and impactful way, do you ever look back? Like I have a career scrapbook and I pull out all the tapes and the videos and the photos, and it just reminds me of some of the experiences and the people I've met. Some aren't even around anymore. They've moved on to, you know, level 2, but some of the people I've collaborated with and some of the things I forgot. Oh, I remember we did that. And boy, it was pouring in rain when we were outside. We still had to do that. And we were in a snowstorm. And do you ever look back at some of it and say, wow, this is really, I've done a few cool things here. No, huh?
Not.
Do you move, you're moving forward?
Yeah. Or I'm where I am.
Oh, I like that. Or I'm where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that lets you focus on the now.
Exactly.
That's really.
I'm not much of a backlooker.
Right. Yeah, because you can get stuck on that too. You can get stuck. Yeah. It's nice to review. It's nice to take some time to remember and cherish, but you can't get lost in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can easily. Well, Barbara, this was absolutely fantastic. You were amazing.
I really loved every minute, and I'm going to look over all these comments. Really.
Now, will you watch this again? Will you watch it?
I will. You know, good. Probably because of the comments.
Yeah, nice, beautiful comments.
You know, I know what happened, but I'm really interested in what people saw.
Feedback and apps. Me too. That's why I tell people it's a very viewer centric, and I do that in my professional work too. I'm very interactive. So, and I know they love having you see the comments.
I really love talking with you. Really loved it.
It was my pleasure. I hope it met whatever expectations were delivered.
It did. It met all of them, really.
Well, I appreciate that, Barbara. And I hope
you're a hell of an interviewer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think Mom in Florida is watching this, so she's very happy.
Hello, Mom in Florida.
So you just made her day. And mine as well, Barbara. People had mentioned they're so excited when you were coming on the show, and I as well. And it's an honor to have you here. You really are, you know, I know the word legend is always banted around too much, but you really are. And your body of work stands for itself, the character of who you are, you know, the quality of the work, the pieces you've selected, and your ability to share it in such an authentic and deeply felt way that makes an impact and lasts and gets people to really feel better about themselves. And that's a beautiful thing when you have that opportunity to do it, and you do it through acting and singing and songwriting and through performance. So we wish you nothing but all the best, the blessings of life. And I hope when all of this passes, we'll get together and toast and break bread.
I would love that. I really would.
That would be a real blessing and a pleasure. I look forward to that. Thank you very much. I hope they didn't tell you that this was going to be just a 15-minute soundbite, that this was going to be more in-depth.
I watched Austin.
You got a good understanding.
Yes.
That we like to go deep.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Barbara. You're a blessing, and it's an honor to have you on the show. And we wish you well through all of this that we're going through. And we will see you soon. And the door is always open here. You're welcome back anytime.
Wonderful. I love that.
Thank you very much. All right.
Bye, everybody.
And I hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you.
I really have.
You have a wonderful night, and thanks for joining us, Barbara.
My pleasure.
You take care. Bye-bye now. She not amazing or what? Barbara BLEIER. She is, you've learned a little bit more about her, which is what we like to do here on the show, the essence of who she is. And she's got I love her sense of humor, very dry wit. And you got a chance to sample some of her incredible singing voice too. If you weren't as familiar, she is somebody who just has touched so many lives, and you can tell that she really loves what she does, just like I do. So this is really a joy to have an opportunity to come to you like this with wonderful guests like Barbara and so many others, Austin Pendleton as well. Just want to run through some of these beautiful shots again. It's nice when you get a chance to go back a little bit, right? And there she is there, the coffee house Barbara, she said, and then when she was a little child playing violin. And of course, if you ever get a chance to see her, make sure you do. She puts so much heart and soul into everything. And of course, the Little Foxes with the Quarantine Theater coming up on Sunday. And again, movies that she's been in, and she's really touched the full scope of the arts in so many different ways. And we absolutely love that. Love all the great comments too that have been coming in. Really, really beautiful stuff. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the interview, or I call it a conversation amongst friends. It's really a beautiful thing when you get a chance to do that. And I love doing that here on the show. If you've missed any episodes of our show, just go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel. We would love that. And you can see 11 weeks of shows. And we do our show every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live. Tomorrow night, Stan Livingston is with us. Stan Livingston starred as Chip Douglas in My Three Sons. That's right. Remember that long-running series for years on CBS? There he is on the bottom left. He is going to be with us tomorrow night at the time of this broadcast. And then also on Saturday, Ellis Gage is going to be with us. He is a brilliant, brilliant performer and really up and coming. And we're excited to have him with us for an exclusive conversation as my guest this Saturday night. And then Bruce Valanche is going to be with us on Sunday, the renowned comedy writer and producer and extraordinaire when it comes to being involved in so many incredible projects and causes. He's going to be with us as well. That was Ellis, and Bruce will be with us on Sunday. We have guests all the way booked until, it's extraordinary, guests booked all the way until the end of September, just about. And then some nights where there isn't a guest and it's just us. Remember, we do on-location segments, we do food segments, we take you to great places, you and me, the host, and the viewers, because this is a freestyle entertainment lifestyle talk show series where everything is up for grabs. It's not the same thing every night, doesn't even look the same every night. We like to keep it fresh and exciting for everybody. So we have a couple of things that we do here. We, of course, say good night, but as you remember, or if you're just joining us, this is a little ritual we do at the end of the show. I might be the star of the show as the host and producer, but you guys are the stars as well. You and you and you and you and you, watching all around the world with our worldwide audience nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I think you guys are all the stars, really, truly. And of course, remember to take care of one another, to relax, to breathe. Breathe from the diaphragm. That's a really important, beautiful thing to do. Love one another, be good to one another, try to be empathetic, kind. I know not every day is perfect, and sometimes it's tough to always put a smile on your face when you're not feeling well or things have happened, but try to do that as much as you can. And through the times we're going through now and through all of your life, try to relax if you can. Take moments, listen to good music, write the book you've always wanted to write, go out and garden. If sports are what you love, get out there and play sports. Go to the coast, go to the ocean, go to the mountains, whatever it is. Listen to some nostalgic material. Watch some reruns of classic sitcoms and watch good movies. Bake a cake and eat it, whatever it takes. Just relax and breathe. Thank you once again, our beautiful and legendary and phenomenal guest, giving so much of her time and her talent with us here on the show today, Barbara BLEIER. She is extraordinary. And we appreciate your being with us, and comments still pouring in here as we get ready to wrap up. Yes, stay COVID safe. Barbara and Jim, you as well, Jennifer, thank you very much. Another fun evening on Mr. Lovity's show. Thank you. Appreciate that. Linda in Florida. Renee Katz in the Midlands of Flushing, Queens, right? New York. Wonderful interview. Blessings, Barbara. Absolutely. We appreciate that. Lovely to you both. Thank you, Barbara and Jim. Our pleasure. Good night, Barbara. Good night to you as well. Thank you for coming on to Jim's show tonight, for Barbara as well. Thank you, Barbara. I love how our my audience not only expresses what they love about the show itself and my hosting and all, but they welcome our guests as if it's all family, which is, it really is. This is like one big happy family here on the Jim Masters Show Live, where Lovity reigns. That was fabulous. Thank you very, very much. Kathleen, thank you for the entertainment. Barbara, Marianne, good to see you once again. I love when you watch us on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Barbara, what fun. Absolutely. And, you know, she was able to share elements of her life with us. And also, she's a real spirit. You might see her on stage and see her in commercials and see her, you know, in film. And now you got an essence of who she really is and what makes her tick and why she loves to do what she does. And having the psychoanalytic background as well, I think, is a plus. As a lover of psychology and things of that nature myself, too, I just think it's an extra edge. So this was beautiful having all of you here on the show, folks. We love having you here. Here's some corn from Illinois. That's right. You're normally in Iowa, but tonight you're in Illinois. That corn, wish I could reach in there and grab that. Go for some nice sweet corn right about now. But thanks, gang. It's a blessing and a pleasure. We'll be here tomorrow night, and Stan Livingston is here. Tell everybody, have a watch party. Share the link. It's going to be an amazing show. You know, with my television background, talking to a legend like Stan Livingston, who starred in My Three Sons with Fred McMurray and William Demarest and all the other wonderful actors. He's here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, this is your host, Jim Masters. Thanks for all the time with us tonight. We wish you a wonderful rest of your evening all around the world. If it is Australia where you're watching, well then, good day. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. You have a good night. Bye for now. Take care.